Good morning. I'm already laughing this morning, so I'm going to try to tell you all a joke to keep the laughter going about a gentleman who was in search of a job. And he sat down with the person that was interviewing him, and they had a nice little interview. And toward the end of it, the interviewer said to the interviewee, he said, "Tell me, sir, there's a 4-year gap on your resume. Could you explain that?" And he said, "Yes, that's when I went to Yale." And he said, "Ooh, that's very impressive. You're hired." And he said, "Well, I sure am glad, because I've been looking for a job since January."
Oh, no.
Oh boy.
So wrong in so many levels.
I went to Yale.
If you are Hispanic.
Oh,
So wrong.
sorry for that.
So wrong in so many levels.
I know. If anyone can joke about that, though, I have a right. So good morning, Daily Huddle. Today is Wednesday, where we are hoping to bring you some joy, laughter, and most importantly, some value to kick off your day with a new perspective and a new challenge. We are Wednesdays where we talk about communication and relationships, because we know that more effective communication builds better relationships, and better relationships build better families, better communities, and better businesses. Before we dig into our question today, I have some questions for each of you, and I'm going to start with the lovely Lela. Lela, tell me this morning, where are you and who will you hug today?
I am right where I'm supposed to be, and I hug each and every one of you.
Thank you. I receive and feel that hug. It feels beautiful. Thank you so much. I see Peter this morning. It's so good to see your face. Tell me, Peter, what time is it and what are you grateful for?
The time it's now, right now, in the present. And what am I grateful for? Oh my gosh. Life. And it might sound like a cliche. I came in last night after 10 from Jamaica and I'm tired, but it's a great day.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for being here after such a long trip. Thank you so much. I have one more question, and it's for Stan. Stan, good morning. Tell me, where are you and how are you?
I am right here, right now, Tara, and I'm just blessed.
Oh,
I am as I say I am.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I know that you are blessed because you say that you are, and that is a wonderful thing. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my beautiful co-host and dear friend, Kathryn Sabol, to tell us the question of the day and how we're going to dig in.
Thank you, Tara. Excited to be here today.
Uh-oh. She gone?
Lost her sound.
She said she was excited, so that's what happened.
Let me see where she is, or if I need to. She just went away. There she is. Oh.
Super excited.
Okay, whoever planned that, thank you. Because the question today is, how do we connect with people who we can't connect with? So when you send me out of the room, how do you expect to connect with me? That's great. But this question was stemmed from something that came up last week in our conversation with Sorrel. And it got me thinking, there are so many times and ways in which we can't connect with people who we want to connect with. They might be overseas in the military. They might be deceased. They could be, you could have a really troubled relationship with somebody and really want that connection, but there's just not a way to bridge that gap yet. And so it got us thinking, like, how do we connect with those that we can't connect with? And I mentioned last week that, I can connect with people through meditation and through bringing them into my heart and thinking about them. But Tara and I wanted to explore this even a little bit more. And Tara has a beautiful story about this that starts to illustrate exactly what we're talking about.
Thank you, Kathryn. There's so many examples, I think, just to make it relatable to anyone who's listening. I mean, there are people that are deceased that are away at military, away at college, across the seas. There's all reasons, people that were estranged, our relationships are estranged. There's so many reasons why we have people in our lives that we miss, that we really can't truly access. But there is one particular experience in my life that I hope will be a little bit of inspiration for anybody who has somebody in their life that they miss and they want to be closer to. And it comes from the history of my relationship with my son. And let's see, back in, let me think about these years, 2000, probably 12, 13, my son was drinking a lot, smoking a lot of marijuana, and just in a constant haze. We were worried so much about him, and it was years where he wouldn't even look me in the eye. So there he was, coming in and out of my house day in and day out. And he's right in front of me, and I miss him because I couldn't reach him. And so over those few years, our relationship, we didn't argue. It just became cold. I felt estranged. I could be standing right in front of him and he wouldn't look at me. And many of you know, but for those of you that don't, all this came to a screeching halt when he was drinking and driving, hit someone, injured her desperately, and went to prison for 7 years and 41 days. And I share this around this question because for 7 years and 41 days, I really couldn't see my son. There was some visitation, but it was very cold and awkward, and you could hug, but it was very quick, and then you had to let go. You could not touch your family member. He could call from a public phone, and this recording would come on, and you don't want to miss the call because you don't know when he'll be able to call again. This long recording comes on, and then you have this very kind of interrupted little bit of communication with your loved one. And then there are letters, which is probably the most powerful way that we communicated. And I share this because when he left to go to prison in December of 2014, our relationship was probably hanging by a thread. And mostly through letters and much through phone calls, over the course of 7 years, we built back what we had, and then some, and then some, and then some. Our relationship today is, we are so close and so connected and so open and so vulnerable with each other. He's accountable, he's generous, he's honest. And we built this all the while that he was incarcerated. And I share it in hopes that it will remind folks that just because we're physically away from somebody or not able to reach them in the way that we might like to, I want to encourage us not to wait until circumstances change. We have to see what the circumstances are now and respond to those, because as you all know, we're not promised tomorrow. And the last thing I'll leave you with is when those phone calls came in, as a mother, I didn't want to miss the phone call because I needed to hear his voice and make sure he was okay. But I also knew what I was going to experience, especially in the early years of this. I was going to take a phone call and just listen to my firstborn child tell me how much he was suffering. So as much as I wanted to listen, it was excruciating. And I think sometimes when we know that part of relationships are painful, it's easier to avoid them. And I may have done that if he weren't incarcerated, but as a mom, I just had no choice. I had to take the call. I had to absorb the pain and then get off the phone and get on with life, put on my lipstick, as I say, put on a smile and continue to lift other people up and go to work and be a mother and a wife and a friend. So thank you for listening to my story about reconnecting with my son. And as I said, I hope that it gives some thought and pause to others who maybe have someone in their life that they do want to connect with. There are other ways than just making sure that it's convenient. Just whatever those opportunities are, I encourage you to take them. So
I love that, Tara. I love what you shared. It's you've mentioned a couple of things that are so important. One is listening, and how to truly listen when we're in relationship, which brings me to the other point, which is being present. Because when we're talking about when we are with someone or are in connection with someone. So, writing letters is not being in person with them, but it is a way to connect with them. And we're going to talk about when we actually can't connect with them in that way. But we wanted to highlight too, that when you can connect, know that that moment is the only moment that will be that moment ever. You may have another moment with them, but that will be different. And this one can be whatever you choose it to be. And, we had someone on several weeks ago, Robert, who talked about living legacy. And it's what is the feeling that you want people to walk away with after their time with you?
Mm-hmm.
And how to be present with that,
Absolutely.
So being present and then listening with your whole heart, listening with your body, with your mind, with your spirit, not just your ears. I practice this all the time with the little people because they're saying stuff in other ways. They don't know their emotions and they're expressing different things. So, be sure to listen when you are with people. It can teach you so much.
Do you think that, is it just me or is it other people that maybe we avoid those deep connections because they come with, as much as they're important, they come with pain, and we're avoiding that at times. I mean, my brain obviously goes to the science of that.
Well, I think we avoid just uncomfortable feelings,
Mm-hmm.
pain being one of them. And so sometimes I don't think it's necessarily pain. In your case, it was. I mean, obviously listening to your son suffer from prison, but other times I think we are in our culture, we're taught to avoid discomfort. You feel bad, go have a drink. You feel bad, go shopping. You feel bad, do this,
Mm-hmm.
There's, we're not taught this staying power of just let it pass through you. This will come and this will go. So I think it's the uncomfortable feeling sometimes that keeps us separated from being in a relationship with people that could be difficult,
I think you really touched on something that is helpful to me, is you use the word staying power. It's not permanent. These negative or hurtful or painful moments are not permanent, but when we see them through as opposed to avoid them, we're grateful. And it makes me think of another time when I didn't have that staying power.
Mm-hmm.
When my mother got sick, she's gone now. And when she got sick, it was very difficult to be in her home with her. She was confused. She was angry. She couldn't breathe well. And I would go and visit, and quite honestly, and it's hard to say this out loud, leave as soon as I could justify it.
Mm-hmm.
And I regret not having more staying power with her.
Yeah. And I think that takes us to, how do you connect with people that you can't connect with? Because that staying power, I don't know. I don't have the right words for this. And I wish I did before I started talking about it. But I'm half of the relationship in any relationship I'm in. The other person is half the relationship, And so I can connect with somebody and be, in my words, be in relationship with them. Think about them, bring them into my heart, and I don't know the neuroscience of that. It's a bit woo-woo, if you will, but there is a way, because if I stay in the lamenting of, I can't connect with this person, we're not on good terms, they're far away, oh no, that's the energy that I'm creating around that relationship, versus holding that person as whole and beautiful and loved and loving and sending that energy out into the world,
Absolutely.
So, and I feel like this is more of a conversation, and I see we've got questions already. So let's go ahead and dive in. Chase.
Grand morning, grand rising, everybody. Wow.
Good morning.
You guys ran
You
in.
had your coffee?
Oh,
Right in.
gosh. Okay, I'm gonna be really quick about this because this is this one hits me. So what I found works well in this kind of situation where you can't be with someone but you want to speak with them is, I got into this I guess the best word is like kind of like a telepathic signal, right? not to get too crazy and deep and woo, but in general, I became intimate with speaking with the person as if they were with me. So I would take meditative music and I would put it on and speak to them or say what I wanted to say through the music, closing my eyes, meditative. The most powerful thing is I did that like 20 times over the course of a month. And one specific day I was doing it, the person texted me and said, I hear you. I was like, whoa. It's like everything else. We create a habit and then we delve into, like taking an axe to a tree or shovel to the ground. You get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But I don't think we are accustomed to speaking to people telepathically. So it may seem a little strange at first, but energetically, it's all happens to us, right? We call somebody and they say, man, I was just thinking about you. I was just feeling something about you. And this has been by far the most difficult year of my life, by far. In many family relationships, all kinds of stuff, right? So I've had like this course on speaking with the people that I can't speak to within myself. And it's strengthened to the point where I'm already a great manifester, but that thing that I've been doing is like, woo, like anyone can go online and read about it or on any, Google it, YouTube, whatever. It's really real. So I leave you with that because I don't think most people would do that. I don't think they would sit with themselves and say, okay, now listen, I'm speaking to you. This is what's in my heart. This is what I'm feeling. And I want to give you this. I want to transfer this to you. It's all energy and we're all energy. And I think it works. I don't even think it works. I know it works. It just needs practice. And thank you for that story about your son. I mean, so moving, so powerful and so necessary for people in general, because we know that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, the next day. And right now I'm in a disconnection with my father, just over some stuff about his wife that just doesn't appreciate me, treats me disrespectful and all this stuff. And he has an operation today. And I want to connect with him today.
You will.
And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. So it's no mistake that this call spoke about this today, because literally, I'm not joking. That's what I'm doing today for my father, who's having a neck operation in Miami. And it's just powerful. So thank you all. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you for sharing that. That is so powerful. And I think what you said resonated the most with me is it's energy, and we are all energy. And we are all connected.
Yeah. Before we jump to Rashida, I want to chime in on what Chase said too, because Kathryn, I mean, she's being a little humble. If anybody can relate to what you're saying, it's Kathryn. And we talked about this just yesterday, how, and you use the word woo woo and she does too. And she's like, I don't want to get too woo woo, but I'll tell you somebody else who would completely agree with the ability to connect with people through energy and in peace and meditation. That's my son. And he learned to do that behind bars. So I can't wait for him to have the chance to watch this recording. So I thank you too, Chase.
Yeah, thank you. And I you're right, Tara, I do a lot of this. And again, we'll go to Rashida in a second, but I wanted to share one other thing that's similar to what Chase said. There's an exercise that I do when I want to connect with somebody, if I'm having difficulty with somebody, or sometimes if I'm nervous to go into a conversation with them, I'm not sure what's going to happen. And I call it the rainbow bridge. And I get quiet, I close my eyes. I imagine my highest self going up into the ether, into the heavens, into the sky, and this beautiful rainbow bridge, and their highest self coming up, building the rest of the rainbow bridge. And then the two of it's our highest selves. I think I may have mentioned this last week. It's not any of the petty parts of us or the human, it's the perfect parts of us who know what we want, full of love and light. And we walk across the bridge and I just open my heart and give them all love and light. And and sometimes talk to them, but it's just a way, I think our minds are powerful. It's a way to visualize exactly what we want and what we want to give to the world and what we want to give to others. So whatever works for you, there's a million ways to do it. So Rashida, tell us what's on your mind. I think you might be on. Oh,
You're
you're
on
on mute.
mute, darling. You're on mute.
Thank
There
you
we
so
go.
much. I really appreciate being here this morning, sharing space with you all guys. It's just a blessing to know that I've been going through some, I would say miscommunication with my son. Tara, thank you so much. You have given me, you have taught me this morning how to go about amendment the relationship that I have with my son. The relationship that I have with my son is one of those things that up to 2 weeks ago, I was saying to him, I say, son, thank you so much for being my son. Thank you so much for choosing me as your mommy. And one of the things that I can say about this relationship that I built with my son as a single mom, and is that I say to him, I say, thank you so much for being conscious and not going off our life in the way that very, what I would say, very spiritual person that he is.
Mhm.
But he has chose a path in life, and I say, it's your life, your choice, your pick. But I want you to come back in seeing and find out where you can amend the I will not say mistake, but the wrong step that you have done in life. He has 2 little boys. 3-year-old will be December, and you have a 7-month-old, and he have no relationship with them more than twice a week. I said, no, this is not what I want you to do to these human beings. They did not choose to come here. I need you to build a relationship that I have started you for the 24 years that you are been living on this planet. So please be conscious. He said, Mommy, I'm trying. I said, no, I don't want you to try. I want you to get it done. And he says, Mom, and I say, it's for the upbringing. You was in the Air Force, you went to boarding school, super genius little boy. He went to college at 15 years old. So give me that respect and respect to those 2 little boys that you need to do the right thing by them. So Tara, when you started to speak about the relationship that you build with your son behind bar, I am building my relationship with my son right next to me. Right now, he went and I said to him, go and freelance. You are a computer whiz, you are a cybersecurity genius, go for that. And right now, he is taking his steps. He opened his own corporation. So I said the relation, and I said to him, I said, thank you so much for not being a drunk, not being a drug addict, but you need to do something better in your life to teach and to leave a legacy to your 2 boys. I don't know if I can leave a legacy for you. Mommy, you've been that monster and that warrior that I respect. So thank you so much for really making me build the bridge and the relationship stronger with that 24-year-old man. Thank you so much, Tara. And Kat, thank you for being that link of making my spirit elevate higher with the relationship that I build with my son. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Rashida. Thank you. That's beautiful.
We could stop right here with those beautiful expressions of gratitude. Thank you for saying that. And I know that your relationship with your son will grow and blossom. I have no doubt. I'll give you one other little piece of this story about my son. And it is that 2 months before the accident, I actually kicked him out of my house. I said, we can't do this anymore. You may not live here. And he left. And people have asked me if I have guilt about that, because who knows, maybe the accident wouldn't have happened. And not only did he go to prison, he walked out of prison whole. He hit someone who was disabled today, now very much like his sister. And we're getting a little off topic here, but I wanted to share this since you brought up a struggling relationship. And quite honestly, I don't have guilt, because at the time I thought I was doing the right thing. And Rashida, that's all we can do, is do what we think is the right thing to do. And after that, we have to leave it up to all the energy in this world, all the love in this world, God, whatever it is that we believe in it with all your heart.
It's so true. It's beautiful. It's talking about differences, differences of how we want our kids to grow up, what we want them to do or believe or say, when really they're on their own path. Just as other people are who are doing their own thing. I like to think that everybody's doing their best, and if we can give them that grace and that love and that compassion, it'll come right back to us.
Yeah. So Kathryn, we only have a few minutes left, and I guess the conversation, if we have any other questions, that'd be awesome. I also want us to, for our listeners, put a bow on this. Like, what is our message?
Yeah, it's twofold for me. When you do know that it's a blessing to be in somebody's presence. Know that to have a relationship with somebody, whether it's in person, whether it's from far away, like that is a gift. There's something magical about it. Every single instance, whether it's the grocery store clerk or the gas station attendant, or somebody that's really close to you. I just think that those interactions are spiritual. So slow down, be present. And, we talk about give in our 7 tenets, and like give of your attention. And there's nowhere else you need to be. Your mind will tell you that you do. But be where you are, be where your feet are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I imagine too, the relationships that maybe like Rashida and like my son, the person's right here, but something is not healthy and something is estranged. And I think it's easy to sit back and wait for circumstances to change so that we can repair relationships. And I think that'd be my message today, is don't wait. If your words are not being received, write a letter. If your letter's not being received, send a text, a phone call. Just don't give up.
Mm-hmm. And if you can't connect with them, like Chase and I talked about, find love in your heart for them anyway. Find a way to connect with them. They're who they are at their core, not their actions, not their words, not any of that, but who they are at their core, and connect with them and send them love and light. We're making the world a better place right here today on the Daily Huddle.
Thank you, Kathryn.
All right, we're going to close out. We have to start with love as part of our 7 tenets, because this just feels like loving everybody, no matter where, from afar, near, in many ways, anyway, just love. Laugh out loud. Tara had us do that at the beginning, which I'm always so grateful for. And stress less. Laughing will help you do that. Eat more plants. Love yourself. That will help you stress less. Give, sleep, and move that body. We will see you all tomorrow, Thursday, on the Daily Huddle.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kathryn. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
One love, guys. One
One love.